So you have placed the monkey picture in your document. Now you select the picture with the arrow key. So maybe I'll change the way the vectors are displayed in this document. Blue onto the gray background of the transparency is not really nice. I will double click on the layer in the layers panel and make it red instead of blue. Okay, I think it is easier to see that the vectors are selected. So you select the picture. As you zoom on it, you are able to see that the picture has not a lot of pixels into it. It's not a problem. In the layers panel, you will expand the layer here with the black triangle here. And you see that you have a linked file. Okay. So, you just selected the picture with the black arrow by clicking on it in the document. Okay, just click beside the picture. It is not selected anymore. And try to select it the other way with the layers panel. So, how do you select the picture here with the layers panel? You must select it not that way. It is the Photoshop way of selecting the layers. It does not work. As you can see, the vectors do not appear on the picture in the document. The way to select a picture in Illustrator is to use the target here. You click on the target and the picture is selected. So it is much closer to the way InDesign works in terms of selecting objects through the layers panel. Don't use the layer panel as if you were in Photoshop. Use it as if you were in InDesign. Use the right column of the layers panel. Okay, so the picture is selected one way or the other. And we'll start transforming these pixels into vectors by going to the window menu into image trace. That's the way they call the panel to transform into vectors, image trace, which, by the way, is an old software which disappeared from the Adobe software's offer and has been put into Illustrator. It was called Streamline. So for those of you who work with people which are for a long time into the computer graphics field, you may hear about Streamline, Adobe Streamline, an old software to trace pictures. But it does not exist anymore. It is the thing we are about to use here, the image trace panel. Okay, you click the preview button, and you see that the pixels are not longer visible. These are vectors. If you zoom in, you see that it has no pixels anymore. And what happened in the layers panel? Instead of a linked file, you have image tracing, which you may consider as a box which contains the picture, in fact. The picture with pixels is still into that image tracing box. That's why you are still able to make adjustments. Okay, so you have the threshold, which is a setting which tells Illustrator how to separate the vectors into two kinds: black vectors, black filled vectors, and white filled vectors. So it's not really useful in this picture, which was already much black and white. It will be quite more useful for pictures in grays. which have a lot of grays, different grays, but it works still. You see that you may choose the way the monkey is vectorized by moving the threshold. I think it is interesting still. Look at the face of the monkey. It's the most important part of the picture, the drawing. Okay. Maybe that way. I know that monkey. He made some selfies before. You recognize it? Okay. So, you may show the advanced settings, but it will not be really useful here. But there is one setting which is useful. It is here, ignore white. Check that. And since you are in transparency display mode on your document, you see that this setting tells Illustrator, don't vectorize white backgrounds. It is not useful. It is not part of the illustration. Only the white part of the picture is the illustration. So it is ignore white. Really interesting here. Don't change anything else. Don't choose strokes. It is for something else. Advanced users, don't use it. Just check ignore white. Okay, so we'll save the document, naming it differently. O2. I save it once again, naming it differently. O3. So I'm sure that in O2, the thing that I'm seeing here, I will be able to go back to that state when I want in O2 document. So now it is O3 document. I saved twice. Okay. If your drawing here, it is no longer a picture, it is a drawing. If your drawing is okay with you, and if you want to go further into the process of making something with it, you must go out of the image tracing mode and be able to look really to see the vectors, which you do not see here, the vectors. And you do it by going into the object menu, image trace, release. Object menu, image trace, release. So in French it is objet, vectorisation d'image décomposée. Sorry, I think it is expand in English. Yes, expand, sorry. Object, image trace, expand. And in French, objet, vectorisation d'image décomposée. Décomposée is expand in the English version of Illustrator. So what is expand? It's going from a modifiable state to a less modifiable state. So you're no longer able to choose the way the linked file is transformed into vectors. The image trace panel is all grayed, but it is a different state of the graphic, and you will be able to do other things to it. So let's save this. First, we'll see what happened in the layers panel. You no longer have an image trace system into the layers panel. It no longer exists. Instead, you have a group of pixels, and in that group, you see a compound path. What is a compound path? It is not a regular path. It is a path composed of several little other paths. In fact, you have 4 paths. You have the path which draws the monkey, and you have 3 other paths which draws holes into that tree and between the arms of the monkey. Okay? Everybody sees that? Okay, so let's grab the white arrow, click just beside the object it is no longer selected, and you hit the Alt key, don't release the Alt key on the keyboard, and the white arrow has now a little plus sign. And by clicking on the side of the whole, all of the anchor points of that all are selected. You see? I just show you here. I'm not hitting the Alt key, and when I click on the side of the all, one or the other, the vectors appear, but they are not selected. They are hollow, not plain vectors. It's not good. If I want to work on all of the shape, I have to hit the Alt key. I don't release it on the keyboard. So I have the white arrow tool with the plus sign. And when I click once, only once, on the side of the whole, I see that all of the anchor points are selected. They are plain, not hollow. So now I work on all of the shape. So if I click a second time, all of the monkey is selected because it is a tool. The white arrow with the plus sign, it is a tool which goes through the hierarchy of the group. So you go from the lower level, and each time you click, you go one level up into the hierarchy. Okay, so you do that. You click just beside the monkey with the Alt key and the white arrow. You click on the side of the shape. All is selected. All anchor points are selected. Don't click a second time. And just release the Alt key. You don't have to push the Alt key on the keyboard anymore. And you will make a drag, a click and drag here. Click and drag, and you move the all into the shape. And if you put it beside the shape here, it is no longer a hole. It is a plain shape. If you put it that way, halfway into the shape, it makes a hole only the parts which are overlapped. That's the way a compound path works. Okay, so I Control Z to put the hole back in place. Okay. Once you understood how it works, you Control Z2 and you put the shape back in place. So on a compound path, you are not able to put more than one color. It is not possible because it is one shape, a special shape with multiple shapes into it, but it is not different shapes. So try it. Select all of the monkey now with the target here, for example, or with the black arrow. All of the monkey is selected, and you have the fill swatch in front of the stroke swatch, and you choose any color, and the monkey changes color, of course. You may choose CMYK color if you want. That's not a problem. Even if you output the document in RGB, they will be converted into RGB. The CMYK colors will be converted into RGB, so don't hesitate to use CMYK colors if you wish. But if you want bright colors, you will only find them in the RGB part of the swatch, the parts we added earlier